Can't decide and torn between a romantic, comedy, action, or an indie film to watch for the weekend? Well. Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast is your ultimate guide to the latest movies. Join us as we dissect the latest on the blockbusters. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Movie Podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Arianne. I'm joined here with Heidi and Sarah.
Hello.
Today we are going to be talking about all of the Halloween series, the ones with Michael Myers.
Not to be confused with Mike Myers.
Right.
Saturday Night Live.
That had to be thrown in there.
Totally different.
Right. But just an overview really quick. There were 10 total movies made.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, 2 of them were remakes, the ones with Rob Zombie and the 2 with him. And then before that, there were 8, Halloween 1, 2, 3, whatever. There were 8 of them. I was like, really? It was funny because as we were thinking about what movies to do, I was like, oh, there's 8 Halloween movies. I just threw a large number out there, not thinking that it was going to be accurate. I was like, oh my gosh, that really is 8 movies. Yeah. So the first one was done in 1978. Michael Myers gets hospitalized for 15 years after killing his teenage sister. He was 8 at the time when he killed his sister. And he was wearing a clown suit. So at the beginning, it just shows the camera view through the mask, his clown mask.
Okay.
And him killing his sister.
It's on Halloween, so he's in a clown costume for Halloween.
Hence the name.
And, and back in the 70s, you could wear masks that had no visibility.
Oh,
now,
right.
now
No, of course. You can't even wear masks anywhere now.
Yeah. Unless you're robbing a bank.
Right, which we don't recommend you do.
Can, but you're still going to get in trouble for
Exactly. You might get caught. Anyway, after being hospitalized for 15 years and talking with Dr. Loomis, and he kind of tries to mellow him out, or kind of
figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of hides the crazy part of Michael Myers. Just suppress it or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever he tells him. He's like,
yeah, that works.
Oh my gosh. Right? Well, anyway, he breaks out of the psychiatric ward and comes back on a future Halloween night and ends up stalking teenagers and killing them, and specifically targeting this Laurie Strode character played
targeting
by
babysitters.
Yeah.
Okay, he was under psychiatric care for 15 years.
Yes.
What did they diagnose him with? Anything? What's going on with this guy? I mean, clearly he's got issues.
Oh yeah, they said he was diagnosed. You've seen it, Heidi? I think it's schizophrenia or something like that.
I don't remember if they necessarily said what it was, but they just were he's a serial killer, kind of. And they were the doctor was just there's nothing behind his eyes, just Satan.
Just straight
He's
evil.
it's just evil behind his eyes.
Right. The embodiment of evil.
They let him out?
No, he escaped.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He
Thank
escaped,
you.
right.
Really?
So, this one, okay, I watched these. I wasn't alive in 1978, but I watched these when I was 10, 11, maybe 12, elementary school age.
Wow.
And they scared the mess out of me. Michael Myers was horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I couldn't even listen to the little jingle. It's I don't know what you call it, the music.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I watched this a few days ago. I watched this and I'm 24 and I was terrified.
Yeah.
I had to watch it in the afternoon. All the lights had to be on. Everything, there could be no one home because I didn't want to hear a sound in the house,
right.
If someone in the other part of the house. And I was so scared.
Right.
And I refuse to watch it because I'm such a wimp. I don't like anything scary.
And I can only imagine how scary it was to people back then. They were
yeah,
oh my gosh,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you had to watch it in the theater.
Oh yeah,
1978.
They didn't have Netflix or anything like that. Oh my gosh,
I could not watch this in a theater. I was so scared.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it just kind of ends of him killing, all these like teenagers, and Laurie Strode, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who's in like all of them.
Yeah, this was her debut acting role too.
Yeah, it was. She did good. I mean, it's weird how she looks the same.
Yeah,
like all
she
these
really
years
does.
later, she just looks
It's
the same.
amazing. Yeah.
And she looks good too.
Yeah.
I like her better with short hair.
Yeah,
But-
and she did a good job. And I also would say like the music in this film is terrifying.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I learned that the director also did he arranged the music and everything. So
Oh, I
he
didn't know
definitely
that.
had a vision for the film, and it was really scary. Like I wonder if this was like the first, because this is definitely like a classic like slasher film.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like this was like one of the first that the music played such a big part, because
Right.
it's in like the entire film
Oh,
is
yeah.
almost completely with that scary music that just like gets
Right.
more frightening as you get closer to Michael Myers.
Oh, it does.
It
too.
is like, because he it's like his theme.
Oh yeah,
and it's
Oh, yeah.
terrifying.
And it's like that in all of them too, because
Oh,
know
God.
when he's there
Oh, I could
with
not
the
do
music. I don't even want to.
Yeah, and it just does the thriller so well. Like the scenes that are through his point of view are done really well. I really enjoyed that. And just like the constant like long shot where it's just someone's back, so
Yeah.
you're like, oh, there's definitely someone
Oh,
behind
yeah.
them. Like they did that so well.
Oh yeah. Well, they said they wanted most of it. So when I did a little bit of research on it, it said they wanted most of the films to be his perspective. So
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of cool, instead of like this is what's going on kind of
Right.
show
And
everybody.
that definitely contributes to the scary factor.
Oh yeah.
And I know they said like this kind of also is in the same vein of like an Alfred Hitchcock kind of thriller.
Right.
Like it's similar, and I definitely felt that like you see Michael Myers, but through his point of view, you don't always see the monster.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of makes it scarier.
Yeah. One fun fact was the people who played. There was 6 guys who had to play Michael Myers in the original in 1978.
Why do they have to have 6?
I don't know. If they were they had 6 guys. One of them, like they did like one scene. I guess the scene where he's breaking into the closet. That was played by a different guy. The guy who played, what's his name, Nick Castle. He played Michael Myers most of the time. But the cool thing is he's in the new one that's coming out.
As Michael Myers
Yeah.
is? Oh.
Yeah, like his old self, I mean, he's probably not that old. I feel bad saying.
Well, it's been almost 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, or it has been 40
It
years.
has been 40 years, right, this year.
I can do math, really.
But yeah, he was he was mostly Michael Myers, but they had to have 6 actors play him.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
yeah.
Essentially, they had to have 6 because they all had kind of the same body size and everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And well, that's what they were saying too, is because when they would put on the mask, it kind of like shaped their faces a little bit different. So if you like really pay attention, you can see
Like the difference.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you all know what the mask was, right?
I was just going to bring that up. Yep. William Shatner.
It really was a real.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a mold of William Shatner when he played Captain Kirk. Yeah,
Oh.
back then.
Painted white.
Yeah, they just painted it.
Did they
white.
do that purpose? Because in the movie, he breaks in and steals a mask, like a Halloween mask.
Right.
I don't think it has anything to do with the plot.
Oh,
It's
no,
just what
it
they
doesn't.
did.
Yeah, that's all they had.
And it wasn't until years
Oh.
later that they actually made that, made it like, hey, by the way, guess what we did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cheap prop.
Right.
That we are gonna use it.
Oh.
Spray painted it white.
Genius.
Yeah, William Shatner.
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah. I mean, it was very scary, and I feel like
Yeah.
Michael Myers is definitely the like original like slasher villain.
Oh, of
like
course.
he's like the original villain that doesn't say anything,
Right.
and just has that like blank, terrifying
Oh,
stare.
yeah. And that's the thing is like, because he doesn't talk and he moves super. That's what creeped me out, is like he never ran. It's like he's
Yeah.
gonna catch you and kill you.
It's
and
one
he
of
walks
those
the whole
movies
time. Yeah.
where you're running, and then
Yeah.
he's just like,
He's just always there.
Yeah.
Plot.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, how, okay.
The physics of that don't really work.
It really doesn't, because it's like, I bet you ran a mile and you turn around and he's not behind you, and then you turn around again and he's right there. It's like, really? And he's just walking all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die. Like, I'm no, especially, I've said this before, I'm the type of person that when I go to the movies, I'm talking to the screen and everybody in the theater can hear me. So they're all
All the time, like, no, you're
Right.
gonna die.
Run! Don't go up there. That's me. Yeah. Yeah. But moving on to part 2. This one was released in 1981. Michael Myers comes back to try and finish killing Laurie Strode, played again by Jamie Lee Curtis. This one, they find out that Laurie is actually Michael Myers' biological sister. Now, she gets adopted. She gets put up for adoption while he's in the psychiatric ward because the parents were like scared that either she might be like him or he might break down and kill her, whatever, which is actually what happened, or tries to. But anyway,
he really has a thing for his sisters. Jeez.
Right. Well, we learned later in, what was it, part 5, 6, one of them, the later ones where somebody tells him that you're only like this because you're cursed and you have to kill off your whole family bloodline or whatever.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Somebody should track that dude down.
Yeah, which is why I was like, okay, you find out she's your sister, or did he already know that he had a sister? Like, it doesn't really depict that.
Well, he was 8. I would assume he knew he had a sister.
Well, he killed his sister, but so the baby...
Or was she born after he went?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so he finds out that, well, we find out as the audience that this is his sister. And I don't really remember if it says, he already knew it was his sister. Whatever.
I mean, he's just cursed.
He's just trying to kill her. So. He just tries to kill her. Which, conveniently for her, she always gets away. I mean, you got to keep the story going.
Good for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she does a really good job.
Does Jamie Lee Curtis's character get some therapy at any point in this? Because I'm thinking, dang, every time I turn around, this dude is trying to kill me.
Right. Well, in one of the remakes, they made it kind of, I think it was one of the ones with Rob Zombie, where they wanted to show it more like the sister Laurie related. What did it say? They had similarities. So she was like, she had like psychological issues too, because they wanted to show similarities between the two, not just, oh, he's a killer and she's not. She's like the good one, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
Mom and Dad should not procreate anymore.
No,
right?
That's what I'm saying.
Who is Rob Zombie?
He's a musician.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks not exactly like a zombie, but he's got kind of that weird, like, you should look him up sometime because he's got a very distinct look.
Is that his thing? Like, he tried to look kind of like a zombie? Or
he doesn't look like a zombie. He just looks like 80s metal kind of weird.
Okay.
But very intimidating. Like, if you've seen him, you'd be like, I'm not going to go say hi to him.
So is he, so you said the one like with Rob, is he in these or something?
No. So the later ones with Rob Zombie, which came out 2007 and 2009.
So those are like reboots or remakes?
They were like actual remakes of part 1 and 2.
Okay.
So, those were the remakes. And he did a really good job as far as like, well, it wasn't him, but the writers, directors, stuff like that. They, I feel like they did a good job because in those ones they threw in backstory of, Michael Myers and his, how maybe he developed to be super crazy or whatever like that. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk more about the Halloween series.
Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Movie Podcast. We are going to continue our discussion on the Halloween series. We just talked about part 2 that was released in 1981. And, Michael Myers comes back and does more killing and Laurie gets away.
I feel like you could just say that about all of them, right?
Yeah,
Michael Myers comes back and does some killing.
Exactly.
Laurie gets away.
Right.
In the end, you think maybe he's gone. No, he's probably not gone.
He'll come back. Yeah, because he always does. Except in part 3, which was Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which had nothing to do with the original storylines of Michael Myers. Michael Myers didn't even, he didn't show up in the movie at all. Oh. Other than in a
flashback?
No, it was like a scene where the dude's in the bar and there's a TV on and it shows like a what are they called? A preview of Halloween 1 or like a commercial of the first Halloween. And that's the only time. It's like, really? But it had nothing to do, like they totally veered off the whole subject of Michael Myers and killing off his family or anything like that, him being in a psych ward. It was just more of like creepy Halloween things and, you know, weird things that happen around the town.
The same town?
Yeah.
The other,
right, the same town, but it was just like,
I'm also moving out of that town, by the way.
I don't town.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, so does it just fit into the Halloween series because it's in the same town?
No, I don't even think that. I just think that they wanted to they tried to do something new just to see if it would fit into like the Halloween kind of and
let's
and then
throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly. And then after they found, like, after it was released and everything like that, they were like, this didn't work. We got to bring back Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So that's what they did in part 4 was, you know, properly named The Return of Michael Myers because part 3 had, it just made no sense when you're going in expecting to watch something about Michael Myers and see if he caught Laurie finally or anything like that. And it doesn't even mention any of that. You're like, wait, what? I want my money back.
Right, exactly. I feel like you can't market it as part of the Halloween series and then not have Michael Myers, the main villain.
Exactly. It was more like a scary Halloween mess and, you know, creepy Halloween stories. But The Return of Michael Myers Part 4 was in 1988. And, how they brought that back was, the story was Michael Myers had been in a coma because I think in Part 2, they end up shooting him and he falls into like a mine shaft.
Oh, of course.
As you do.
Yeah. And so he ends up in a coma for 10 years. And that's how he comes back. He wakes up from his coma. Just because, you know, people in coma for 10 years.
So did he like wake up in a hospital and then just like walked out?
Probably.
Yeah. He escaped again. Yeah. That's
after a coma, you just get him and walk out?
Exactly. And you remember
really good muscle tone.
Yeah. And remember everything.
Exactly. But Michael Myers in my mind is like, you know, 6'9", 10, just big 250 plus pound guy who just, you know, they call him, what was the name they called him? The Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call in Hollywood, or the shape. That's what it was. There's like, oh, he's just the shape because
that makes sense.
Yeah, they were thinking that it's just like a person shaped thing, and then you throw like a big, you know, mechanic's jumpsuit on.
Yeah,
because he's like wearing a blue mechanic's jumpsuit. Yeah. There was a time, I'm gonna mention this, where I used to live with one of my uncles, and he dressed up as Michael Myers for Halloween.
Gosh.
And in his small apartment, he stood by the doorway. This was so crazy because my son was probably like less than a year old. It was creepy. So he stood in the doorway and he knew that Michael Myers creeped me out. And then he went in the kitchen and hid. And I was coming out with my son and like in my arms, and he just stepped through and in the doorway. No. I took off running down, like out the door, and you know, I had my son. I'm just running, screaming. I was like, ah! It was horrible. I was like, you can't do that to me.
You had a good reflex. Reflex, just get right out of there.
Oh yeah, I don't ask questions. I just leave. I'll ask questions later.
Okay, so sorry to randomly jump in here, but I was just doing a little reading, and apparently the creators of the third one, the random one, believed that the Halloween series had the potential to branch into an anthology series of horror films centered around the night of Halloween, with each then having their own sequels.
It did not work.
So kind of like American Horror Story or something like that, where each season is different. But didn't work.
It did not work. No. Especially how well they did like Michael Myers in the first and second one. It's like, you can't. What are you going to branch off to? Like Laurie's story? Nobody cares. We just want to see
her escape and not get stabbed.
But then they kind of tell you her story. Oh, it's like she's the sister. Oh, well, okay. We don't need to know anything more than that. And she's not crazy like him either. So, well, yeah. Anyway, back to part 4. where Michael Myers comes out of the coma, and actually in this one, Laurie's not there, but he finds out that she has a daughter named Jamie, who is around 9 year old, 9 years, 9 year old-ish kind of girl, and he ends up going to kill her. Like, so, he changes her to his target.
This is 1988?
Yes.
So we're not really going in like a believable timeline.
Oh, no,
because it's only been 10 years. So I assume since she was born after, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah, so they're taking it from, like, the first one 10 years later, whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, he starts to, stalk and try and kill this 9-year-old niece of his.
Worst uncle ever.
Yeah, right. And she obviously, just like her mom, ends up getting away. She's in part 5, and I believe in part 6 too. I didn't watch those ones because I was like, I don't want to watch more of just him going to kill his family members, especially a little girl this time. I'm like, that's weird. Okay, that's just weird.
Yeah, so you said Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in that one, but her daughter is.
Yeah.
So
Jamie Lee Curtis is in the first 2.
She's in the first 2.
Poor little random Jamie, which is funny that but so where is her
think,
mother? What's going on?
I think they do like a flashback of, oh yeah, this is her, and then she had a kid, and so this is her daughter Jamie. But I didn't really feel like I needed to watch part 4 part 5 4 or 5 to see that he's going after another family member. But it was weird that he's chasing a child down and she keeps getting away from him. So you can't outsmart a 9-year-old, really.
So did you watch? So you watched up to like the 3rd one?
Well, I watched 1 and 2. And then 3, I was like, what's the point? It doesn't even talk about Michael Myers. Yeah. But because I watched 1 and 2 when I was a kid, I didn't want to watch part 3 because I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, 1 was scary. And then I waited a couple of years. And I was like, you know how sequels are like kind of not that scary? That's what I was thinking. I was like, I could watch part 2. Then I watched part 2 and was even more scared and was like, I'm not watching anymore if he's still going to be in them, because I was just terrified. I was like, I'm not watching Michael Myers. But by the time they came out with the other ones, like, I didn't watch part 6, but they changed their marketing of it because they got new writers. The original writer, they kind of just was like, you can have a little bit of an input. We'll give you a credit at the end, just like as a special shout out, but that's it. And I think they kind of wanted to try their own thing, and their marketing thing for that was their marketing slogan for that was 6 times the horror, 6 times the terror, 6 times the fear, 6 times the thrill of the original Michael. So I was like, okay, since it was part 6.
Man, Michael's getting old. I don't know if he can keep doing this.
It's been 40 years. I mean, so he's in his 60s. I would if he was 8 and then 15 years and then let's put him in. He's in his 60s. He needs to slow down.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to show that he walks a little bit slower, because he doesn't run, obviously.
He walked slow, but maybe he's got like some arthritis in his knees, so
he fell down a mine shaft, and he's still going.
Michael Myers doesn't die like at all. He gets shot. He falls down mine shafts. He gets shot in the eyeballs by Jamie Lee Curtis, her character Laurie, and he still survives.
Yeah.
So it's like he just doesn't die. He's just the shape.
Right. He gets like stabbed.
Yeah. And then he gets up and walks like
exactly.
So many questions. How is that possible?
He's just possessed.
Yeah. So that was part 6, and that came out in 1995. I didn't watch that. I watched some of H2O. So this one was like the 20 years later one that came out in 1998.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Like Halloween, like 20 years later.
Right.
H2O.
H2O Halloween.
Wow, how
20.
clever.
Yeah. And, it's all about water. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the ocean.
Right. You never know. Maybe water could have killed him if they offered him a glass. I don't know. Just drink that. Maybe he might die.
like the signs where it turns out that water killed the aliens. Yeah, maybe you should try it. Throw a glass of water in his face.
You never know. The paint might come off of this. I don't know. But yeah, so the H2O was essentially meant to be a semi-sequel, and they kind of like ignored the fact that 3, 4, and those all happened, and they kind of switched it to where it's like, okay, it starts from the second one, and then in this one Jamie Lee Curtis is there with her family. So she has kids, but
she didn't die,
no,
apparently?
No.
Is Janie one of those kids? Or did we just forget we had that kid?
Yeah, they just, I think it was a son that she had actually in this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. From what I remember watching it. Yeah. But they kind of just like, okay, new storyline. She has a family and she's there with them. She didn't die in a car crash, which is what they made it seem, which they made it sound like in part 4. But yeah, and one funny thing that I thought it was the reason why LL Cool J was in this film was to attract more audiences, basically for marketing.
Where was he in the film? Like, was he a character? Or did he just like have a cameo? Or
No, he was.
He just, showed up. He was Michael Myers.
He was one of. I don't.
That would
I
be
remember
hilarious
seeing
if he
him in
was
there,
Michael
but
Myers.
he seemed like he was. Yeah, I know, right? He just takes off the mask. He has the body type. I mean, he's large. And kind of buff. Just maybe he doesn't. I'm going all. I have so many thoughts in my head right now. I love LL Cool J anyway, but yeah, that's the only reason why they had him in the film. And I think he was like what's it called? Hospital, like, I don't want to say employee, but maybe like a volunteer who was there to help,
like a nurse, kind of. Yeah, like an attendant.
Yeah, an attendant more, it seemed. But he was there for marketing purposes. They wanted more people to come watch the movie because he was like super in at that time in the 90s, which is kind of true, late 90s, yeah. So we're going to take a quick break and then talk about the rest of the series, the other however many movies we have left, guys.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC movie podcast. We are going to continue talking about the Halloween series and, everything crazy about Michael Myers. We just left off on talking about Halloween H2O with LL Cool J and the fact that Laurie appeared with her family because they decided to ignore some of the backstories of the other ones. But yeah. So there was another one after that. That one came out in 1998. The next one that came out was called Halloween Resurrection. This one came out in 2002. It was supposed to be the final film within the original franchise. I'm saying supposed to be because there's one coming out this year that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I want to see, and hopefully they finally kill him off because this has been going on long enough, 40 years. And Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes was in this one, and he did a horrible job as an actor. I just gotta say, I don't know. I haven't seen him in any other films, but I didn't believe his, worry, and he tried to like fight him off, and I was like, it's not believable.
What kind of like role does Busta Rhymes play in the film?
It was just like he was one of the people trying to fight him off so he wouldn't die. Just like how all the other ones.
Just like a victim, kind of, yeah.
Exactly. So that was his role. I think Tyra Banks was one of his main targets in that one too. It wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis, or what's her name, Laurie Strode.
Is she not in this one?
I don't remember. This one I watched a long time ago. I didn't feel like I needed to rewatch it because it was irrelevant to me in the series. I was like, that didn't mean anything. I'm gonna move on.
Yep.
So yeah. Then the two after that one in. We're just gonna move on from that.
Like it's just like it keeps going.
This is like a horror film in and of itself.
Like this is the franchise that
It
does
really
not
is.
end.
Yeah.
It's like the Fast and Furious. There's like 50 of those too.
Yeah.
So-
Well, it's like pretty much in any horror. Like how many Nightmares on Elm Street?
Oh,
the
yeah.
57 or something.
Yeah.
This franchise is like Michael Myers. It just doesn't die.
Oh, I know.
Has someone tried throwing it down a mine shaft?
I know.
It was in a
would
coma.
probably-
We tried.
Right. And even the ones before, I feel like they're all on VHS and they would come back in VHS.
Oh, yeah.
Because why not? The next two were remakes of the original 1 and 2, helped made by Rob Zombie, and he played Michael Myers in these ones. So I kind of liked them because the remake of the one that came out in 2007 kind of showed a little bit of backstory of Michael Myers and kind of how he developed the crazy in him, or the psychological,
So these were like
issues.
remakes of the first and second one,
Right.
Did they follow the story closely?
They do a pretty good job. The first one not so much because they show more backstory
Okay.
of why he's crazy, and then the second one it tried to like mix too much into with the original part 2. So I don't really feel like it did a good job. It might have. I didn't look at the numbers. But in the second one, then the second remake with Rob Zombie is the only film where Michael Myers speaks, because he doesn't speak in any of the other ones. He just like stares and walks slowly.
Right, and tries to
So
kill
why
people.
does he speak in this one?
I don't know. It doesn't ever say, but he says die because that's what Michael Myers. Obviously, that's the only thing on his mind. So
Do they like build it up like, oh, his one line, or is it just
No.
like he just says it?
yeah,
just randomly?
it says it, and then you're just like, oh snap, he can talk. Look at that. Well, I
not
think in one of-
not eloquently, but he can talk.
Right. Well, I think in one of them, I don't even remember what one, they made it seem like he just goes on a what's the word? He goes mute or takes a vow of silence or something like that.
As you
Personal
do,
silence.
yeah.
Right. After you kill your sister, you don't want to talk to anybody.
I'm gonna take a vow of silence until I complete my bucket list of killing people, or
right,
Exactly. I mean, he talked to Dr. Loomis.
Oh yeah. Well, did Dr. Loomis said he talked? He said he was like he just like stared at a wall.
Yeah.
And like was
Right.
shut down.
Well, then he says that when he did talk to him, you could tell like the mental or psychological, and so he's like, I tried to hide it behind other things. I tried to help him hide it behind other things.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. So I guess maybe the idea is he talked a little bit when he was younger,
Right.
and then once he got out, he just
He just
was
doesn't
focused on
talk-
really one goal.
right,
Right.
kill Lori.
Yeah.
And apparently she just her her written person in the scripts just coming in and out. I don't know, but I guess this one was weird to people because they said they weren't too happy about seeing him with the mask off. They like Michael Myers as Michael Myers is with the mask on.
Yeah, I can see that.
Did you take the mask off in the first remake and the second remake?
No, just the second one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they showed the little kid Michael Myers
Yeah,
without
yeah,
a mask on.
yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
but the older, he doesn't. Well, in part 2 of the remake,
I feel
he
like
is.
that's just horror 101. You just don't reveal
Who you are.
face.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We all saw the Scream movies.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so that's the whole list of all 10 of what happens.
Oh my God.
I do want to say that the new one I want to go see, which comes out on this
The 19th,
the 19th,
Friday.
Friday the 19th. And from what I was looking up, the hashtag is Halloween 40 because it's obviously 40 years later. But I heard that it definitely lives up to its hype from what some reviews are saying. The director is David Gordon Green, and Nick Castle, like I said previously or earlier in this episode, he is again playing Michael Myers, who he actually played the original in the first one.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
She is back. She will be Laurie Strode in this one. And maybe...
And I wonder what children she has now.
I think
Yeah,
in the trailer, it's her daughter Jamie.
Oh,
Is it?
I think so. I think they're in the part in the trailer. It's like evil is out there, Jamie, or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I remember seeing the trailer and they're just like, oh, you're too paranoid. It's not really...
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
no, you don't know.
Also,
he
like
just-
how, like that's not being that paranoid. After you almost got killed twice.
Right. Exactly.
200 movies, but
right, that seems normal.
Exactly. So no, it's not paranoia. You want to protect your family, especially if he's out just killing the bloodline.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So, and then it's weird too because they kind of erase like 4, 5, and 6, and it's like if it was Jamie, you would know because he tried to kill you too.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But I want to go see it.
Just it's also random.
It is. These Halloween series, I wish they would have did just like the 1 and 2. And then, I also read that the writer for 1 and 2, he kind of like got eased out of the writing of it because he wrote and I think directed the first one.
Which is fine, but come on, chances are good you've seen them, or at least like try to keep some continuity going.
Exactly. But I mean, the only thing they kept going was Michael Myers comes back, he doesn't die, and Laurie gets away, and he kills a lot of people. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Michael Myers will die. Maybe he'll just walk slower because he's old.
Right? Walk slower. I hope he finally dies.
I would like there to be a movie in another like 10 or 15 years where he's just rolling slowly in a wheelchair.
Yeah. With a knife. Yeah.
Or maybe where he just like confronts Laurie and he like says sorry and
that's all it takes.
I'm so sorry for doing
and
all
they
that.
hug and make up.
Right.
And like, I understand.
And then he gets invited to like the family Christmas dinner.
Right.
Or
it
something,
kept me in shape, all that running.
Right.
It's fine.
Sorry I had psychological issues. I am taking medication now.
Right, yeah.
Let's be a family. That would be a weird twist on it.
But if he's at Christmas dinner, I would think he'd have to be sitting there in the mask. It would be
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Don't take your mask off.
Yeah.
sitting around the Christmas tree, the kids are opening presents. Michael Myers is just sitting in the background.
Makeup on it or something. Make him look happy.
He could be wearing a Santa hat.
Yeah.
But the mask also.
Uncle Michael.
Uncle Michael.
He's so crazy. Well, anyway, that is our episode today. Feel free to go watch the Halloween series, all of them, if you like that sort of slasher thing, and the new one, if you like that. If you listen to this show, then you already know what's going to happen. So it's the basic. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys again next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Movie Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.